The 1931 Central China floods were some of the deadliest floods in human history, with the estimates of a death toll ranging from anywhere to 400,000 to over 4 million. The series of weather events leading up to the floods were complex and resulted in the perfect storm for the rivers to spill over and unleash their devastation. The winter of the preceding year had seen heavy amounts of snow and ice forming. In the spring of that year, that ice and snow later melted and enlarged the river's banks. Additionally, there were abnormal amounts of rain due to a heavy East Asian moon cycle that resulted in 7 cyclones, whereas the area normally had an average of 2 cyclones per year. The rivers were unable to hold the massive amounts of rainfall, as the dike control system was poorly planned and favored agriculture over actual flood control. The flooding was enormous and covered a large part of China. The flooding from the three rivers spilled out to an area that was over the size of England and devastated everywhere it went. One of the worst effects of the floods was that it destroyed crops. The aftermath. While the enormous death toll of the flood is more due to the aftermath of the flood than the waters themselves. In the aftermath of the flood, the conditions were ripe for disease such as cholera and typhoid to spread, and the presence of water provided a breeding ground for mosquitoes, which then spread malaria. It is estimated that 70% of the deaths caused by the flood were because of this disease, the majority of the rest of which was likely due to agricultural devastation, as the areas that were normally had been used for agriculture were wiped out by the floods and starvation assumed. In the aftermath of the flood, a new water control system was built that focused on actually controlling the rivers instead of preferring agriculture as had happened in the past, and the threat of flooding was taken much more seriously. Decades later, the Three Gorges Dam would be built on the river system that had flooded, which is now one of the largest dams in the world, and the dam that provides the most power out of any in the world.